What she's wanting to do is do price cutting, which basically means the government steps in and says you cannot sell a loaf of bread for more than XYZ dollars.
It doesn't work.
Before we start, we need to tell you up front we are not a licensed financial planning, accounting or law firm. This is simply an education program which will give you factual information. We do not give any general or specific advice around finance, business, investing, options trading or anything else. That is not what this presentation does. Please see a licensed financial planner when it comes to any investment advice you need.
Can we go over to the United States for a moment?
Let's do that.
Because it's been interesting on the political front. Kamala Harris has kind of come out with her economic policy, which has been really, really interesting to watch.
Bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
I love that. Did you just put that there to give me a laugh, mate? Come on, really. That is fantastic.
It's like let them hang themselves.
Let them hang themselves.
Exactly what she's wanting to do is do price cutting, which basically means the government steps in and says you cannot sell a loaf of bread for more than XYZ dollars. Right?
It doesn't work.
And they can
It's
do
called
that.
communism.
Well, it doesn't, for many reasons, it doesn't work. The big one is inflation.
Yep.
And let's say a supplier who brings you the flour to make that loaf of bread has had to increase their costs because the fertilizer overseas has been held up by a certain conflict and they can't get the yield they used to. And to transport it to you has gone up in terms of fuel costs. So now, instead of a pound of flour costing XYZ, it costs now 20% more than it once did.
Yep.
That's a flow-on effect to the baker, of course. So
correct.
These sort of prices cannot be adjusted very efficiently by government because they don't see those costs moving. And in business, especially small, medium enterprise, they have to move very quickly and pivot very quickly to adjust to those changes. The second reason why it doesn't work is that, you've all heard of the ticket gouging type thing where they limit how many tickets you can buy to your favorite footy game or whatever it might be. They don't want people buying them all up and then selling them on a secondary market or black market and price gouging that way. That is certainly a big concern in that space too. We saw the issues of hoarding toilet paper a few years ago and the price or what that did for people.
Derek, over here. Got this nice bit of sourdough. Yeah, it's $25. Yeah, what do you reckon? That's what it's becoming, right? Yeah. Well, that's certainly under her plan. She is an absolute nightmare. Anyone, honestly.
But in fairness, where's she going to go? What is she going to do? Because it hasn't worked in relation to the last couple of years of what they've been trying to do. She's been the vice president, and they've had under that regime interest rates go right up. Now, I know that's not entirely their fault.
Correct.
But they have had 3-4 years to fix this. What is she going to go out there and do? She can't keep doing the policies that she's been doing. She's got to come up with something that's original, different from Trump, right?
Yep.
And so,
well, how can no? But she's using Trump policies right now.
Yeah.
She's been out there about the freeze on no tax on tips and Social Security. Looks like we've got an
pay cash and won't matter.
What's that, mate?
For your tips, just pay cash. Doesn't matter. They can't tax cash.
Absolutely.
Well, they do, but they're still supposed to declare that in terms of tax, and they've come out and said, "Hey, you can keep it and don't worry about it." That's what they've been saying, which I will add is probably very good for that sector because they don't make a lot of money. They rely on the tips to come in. The restaurants pay them a minimum amount in the United States, but you get a ton of good service when you actually go out to eat, and that is what encouraging Americans to do: is go out, eat, have a good time with the family. Those kind of activities, the surplus type expenditure stimulates an economy.
Of course it does. And if I'm going to get good service, because I'm not a tipper, right? Because I live in Australia, okay? So, and it kind of, I almost feel a little angered when I get, well, when they kind of force the how much a tipper you're going to hand when you pass your card over, if you're using a card, right? I get annoyed by that because I know that money's not going to the server anyway, right? And also, quite frankly, you get such bad service right now. You get terrible service. So when I get good service, a little cash on the side. That's what I do, and it makes everybody happy. And if the lady or the man wants to keep that or wants to declare that, that's up to them. I'm just happy to give them a bit of folding.